only of wealth, but also of power. Each brother was said to be worth upwards of $100 million. But more important than their wealth, fortune argued, was the vast social empire which the brothers commanded. From their headquarters in Midtown Manhattan, their influence reached into every sphere. Over the years, through the Rockefeller philanthropic enterprises, charities, support of science, their business enterprises, a web had developed which spread out and was interconnected with practically every center of power in our country and abroad as well. So this was the real strength and power of the family, going well beyond money alone. John D. III continued to run the family philanthropies, but was emerging from his father's shadow through his work in population control and U.S.-Asia relations.
All right. Then on May 9th, 2001, over 20 military, intelligence, government, corporate, and scientific witnesses came forward, of course, at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C. to establish the reality of UFOs and extraterrestrial life.
Members of the press, the American public, and people of the world. We are here today to disclose the truth about a subject that has been ridiculed and questioned, denied for at least 50 years. The men and women who are on this stage and the some 350 additional military intelligence witnesses to the so-called UFO matter and extraterrestrial intelligence can prove and will prove that we are not alone. In 1993, a group of military advisors to this project and I met out in the countryside in Virginia, and we decided that it was time for civilians, military, intelligence, and other people to come together to disclose the truth about the subject which is called UFOs. Since that time, I have personally briefed a sitting Director of Central Intelligence, James Woolsey, President Clinton's first CI director. I have personally briefed the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, the head of Intelligence Joint Staff, members of the Senate Intelligence Committee, many members of Congress, members of the European leadership, the Japanese cabinet, and others. And what I have found is that none of them are surprised that this is true.
This conference took place in Washington, and the cast of characters was almost strangely, well, conventional.
And these aren't guys they just picked up off the streets. The panel includes former governor of Arizona, Fife Symington. Also participating was a retired Air Force captain who says he and his passengers saw a huge flying disc. Also a retired Peruvian Air Force pilot who says he came within 300 feet of a circular UFO flying at 63,000 feet. And then there was a retired U.S. Air Force security officer who, while stationed in England, was summoned to a downed aircraft in a forest.
All right, and it goes on to say, of course, but Dr. Stephen Greer and the Disclosure Project are not the only ones running around disclosing UFOs. Let's see.
UFOs. Mexican Air Force pilots capturing on videotape what are said to be 11, count them, 11 UFOs, unidentified flying objects. They are officially that. Bright objects, some sharp points of light moving quickly across the sky. The tape called historic by some. Members of the Mexican Defense Department saying it's the first time UFOs have had the backing of any country's armed forces. Now, a group of activists calling on the United States government to end what it says is an embargo on the truth about extraterrestrial life. What is that saying on your screen? With us now from Washington is Stephen Bassett, founder and executive director of the Extraterrestrial Phenomena Political Action Committee.
All right. Now, meet politician Stephen Bassett. He is the executive director of Exopolitical Paradigm Research Group. He has hosted several conferences of his own at the National Press Club, of course, in Washington, D.C. Much like the Disclosure Project, PRG also gathered several military, intelligence, government, and scientific witnesses. Exopolitician Stephen Bassett is directly affiliated with the Rockefeller Disclosure Project, Dr. Stephen Greer.
Intelligence is wrong on an issue of enormous importance when it says otherwise.
One of the people that's influenced me the most since I entered the field in '96 is our speaker. Because of his intensity, because of his intelligence, because of his indomitable will, his absolute perseverance, this is what you have to be a change agent. I only aspire to this level. It's critical in times like these, and they don't come along very often, that change agents have got to have the support of the public. And in the modern world, with all the tools we have, it's never been easier to do that. One way you support is to come and listen. I really appreciate that you have. And so, if you would, a very loud round of applause to a very powerful man, Dr. Stephen Greer.
Stephen Greer and Stephen Bassett are both official members of the National Press Club, of course. And if you've ever seen the symbol for the National Press Club, it has a lot to do with the makeup of geography of the way those streets are lined up, and the Owl of Moloch. When you get into that, all the signs that you see above the streets in Washington, D.C. are symbols of the National Press Club. So hold on.
And the Press Club has been extremely helpful because they have opened their facilities to this issue. I'm a member now. That doesn't really matter. And a number of major press conferences have been held here, and I really do appreciate this. This Press Club does truly represent, I think, the fundamental essence of journalism.
So, of course, that begs the question, what is the National Press Club? All right, the National Press Club is a professional organization for journalists. It is located, of course, in Washington, D.C. Its members consist of journalists, former journalists, government information officers, and regular news resources. Founded in 1908, every U.S. president since Roosevelt has visited the club, and everyone since President Harding have all been members of the National Press Club. Others who have appeared at the club include monarchs, prime ministers, Congress, cabinet officials, ambassadors. Let's see. It is located just 2 blocks away from the White House. And if you see where, of course, this is where it gets kind of disturbing. And of course, if you look at, and I'll have to, I'm going to send a link to this video so y'all can all check it out as well and maybe do some research on your own. If you have the White House, the National Press Club is literally towards the center, in front. It's in front of it, in the exact center of what would be the owl. The owl and the Capitol are both shown as one on the National Press Club symbol and geography, exactly, both their symbol and on the actual street. And, of course, it shows the Capitol, the Owl of Moloch, and then the lamp, the oil-burning lamp from, like, what would you see, like, what a genie coming out of, that kind of thing, which, if anybody's seen some of the old images, these are all connected, and that's the key. You have, anyways, it'll hopefully go on this one. Hold on. So there is something very peculiar about this owl, of course. It's an owl we've all seen before. It's even represented, of course, on the $1 bill. It is an odd-looking owl. All right. Of course, we get back into the letters that are on there, all showing back to Masons of the secret societies that are hiding information, using the owl as a way. And even at it's kind of crazy. Hold on. Yeah, of course, y'all all know the Bohemian Grove stuff, but this is from there. It's showing them the Alex Jones footage, so hold on. And we all know what, Bush Sr., Bush Jr., all the Bushes, Bill Clinton, among many others. Many of our presidents and the power elite are members of the Masonic Society known as, of course, we all know it's the Bohemian Club.
Art Linkletter, Jack London, and Richard Nixon all had in common. Well, they've all been members of the exclusive all-male Bohemian Club.
And, of course, it says, leaving spiders, come not here. I'm still really curious what exactly they're referring to, because that's one thing I haven't quite tracked down yet. Let's see. Try to get through it real quick. Oh, I really wish we had video on this thing. That would really help. Alright. So, somehow the National Press Club has the exact same symbols as what is on the Bohemian Club, what's behind the major Fox news sites, and it is, let's see, hold on, you see it everywhere. Hold on. Do apologize, guys, for real. Let's see, it is at Bohemian Grove, where the child human sacrifice, of course, is a ritual by fire, which is performed in front of the Owl of Moloch. I mean, for those that research any of this, I think we're pretty familiar with at least the film that came back from Alex Jones. Let's see. This gets pretty fast at this point. You can hear the screams. We don't have to go through all that again. Of course, these, the Owl of Moloch, Clinton, and Rockefeller are members of Bohemian Club and attend the Bohemian Club rituals. Of course, we knew Rockefeller and Clinton. They've shown images and everything else there. Rockefeller established the UFO Disclosure Initiative to Clinton. Of course, with permission from his wife. But anyways, hold on.
When I put these briefings together, Lawrence Rockefeller listed the Clintons at his ranch.
Clinton, Greer, and Bassett are all exclusive members of the National Press Club.
And the Press Club has been extremely helpful because they have opened their facilities to this issue. I'm a member now. That doesn't really matter.
They're going through showing the lamp of fire, because this is the connection. This is what brings it all to a tie. There are three things that they're needing, and this even has to do with the construction of the streets in Washington, D.C. They're almost done. And if you, like I said, I'll send links to this video. It's just amazing how much it comes. So what does the Owl of Moloch represent? So is anybody familiar with any ancient mythology, like the Bible and everything else? So let's look at some of the ancient mythology, and it's pretty easy to determine this because we see it all the time. And it represents Semitic gods and child human sacrifices associated, of course, with fire. It's known, go on. Where do Semitic gods originate from? We shall know that. It comes from Sumer, which of course is present, or the Akkadian origins, whatever, the present-day Iraq. That's where Sumer was located, which is also part of the Akkadian Empire. Sumer, land of the Lords of Brightness, historically known as, of course, the cradle of civilization, and where the self-proclaimed dimensional god origins can also be found. The Anunnaki. But one in particular, known as Inanna. Hold on.
Which, I don't know. That voice speaking Sumerian, the oldest language in human history. You can go into any Sumerian exhibit and see etchings and sculptures of men in spacesuits and oxygen masks, rockets that look like Apollo.
Alright. Disclosure Project, the NPC, the National Press Club, all connected with the Owl of Moloch, all showing the exact same symbols. Now, the only reason why I bring any of this up seriously, because a lot of this has been connected to what I keep finding right now, especially in the older archaeological finds that have been found. It's been kind of amazing. Everything keeps getting tied together. This has all happened before, like what was said with that Charlie Beach thing. Trust me, they've done this before. This is not the first time, and well, either we can stop it or hopefully it won't be the last. But I still have faith in everybody, and I know we can do stuff. And this is just so hard without like having to go through like everything I know. But this to me is really important. Seriously, people, pay attention. Stay away from this disclosure BS. Seriously, no matter what. It's even if it's just representations of our own subconscious and our desire to belong, to have like